My parents spent $230,000 to make my sister's wedding look like a royal event. They rented a mansion, hired a celebrity photographer, and even gifted her a luxury car as a wedding surprise. But when my little boy was dying and I needed just $85,000 to save his life, they looked me in the eyes and said, "We've already done enough for one child." At that moment, something inside me broke. I realized I was never their daughter, just a shadow living beside their golden child. What I did next changed everything. My sister, Emily, had always been the favorite. From the moment she was born, our parents treated her like the sun, bright, adored, and untouchable. When we were kids, she got ballet lessons, private tutors, designer clothes. I got hand-me-downs and, maybe next year. It wasn't that I was jealous, I just wanted to be seen. When Emily got into college, my parents threw her a huge party. When I graduated with honors, they said, "We'll celebrate next weekend." That weekend never came. Still, I tried to stay close. I wanted my son, Noah, to have grandparents. Even after getting married, I invited them to every milestone, birthdays, holidays, anything that could make them feel involved. But deep down, I knew love in my family wasn't shared, it was traded for status and appearances. When Emily got engaged, my parents treated it like a royal announcement. They hired wedding planners, flew in chefs from Italy, and even renovated their backyard into a wedding venue. I watched them pour money into every little detail, $50,000 on flowers, $10,000 on a cake that no one even finished. During that time, my son Noah was 6. He loved his aunt, but he kept asking, "Mom, why does Grandma only hug Emily?" It broke me, but I kept smiling, for Noah. The wedding lasted 3 days. I helped with decorations and even paid for some last-minute expenses when my mom said they'd run out of cash. After the final dance, my father raised a glass and said, "This is what family pride looks like." If only he knew how hollow that pride would soon become. Noah had been coughing for weeks, but I thought it was just the flu. One night, his breathing became shallow, and I rushed him to the hospital. The diagnosis hit like a hammer, a rare heart condition that required urgent surgery costing $85,000. I had insurance, but it wouldn't cover the full procedure. My husband and I sold everything we could: jewelry, furniture, savings. Still, we were $30,000 short. So I turned to my parents. I explained everything, trembling, showing them the doctor's reports. My mother said softly, "We just paid for Emily's honeymoon, and we're still recovering financially." My father added, "We can't throw money at every problem, Diana." Every problem. That sentence replayed in my head as Noah lay in a hospital bed, asking when Grandma was coming to see him. She never did. A week later, while sitting in the hospital cafeteria, I saw Emily's Instagram post. She was showing off a $30,000 diamond bracelet, a gift from Mom and Dad for being the perfect daughter. That was the same amount I needed to keep my son alive. My hands shook so hard I nearly dropped my phone. I called my parents again, begging, "Please, he's fading. I'll pay you back." My father sighed and said, "Diana, life is unfair. You have to accept that." I hung up without a word. Something cold and sharp replaced my pain, clarity. If money was all they understood, then money would be what they lost. I decided that day that I'd never beg again. But I would make sure they'd remember Noah's name for the rest of their lives. 2 years later, Emily and her husband's business collapsed. The lavish lifestyle they flaunted online vanished overnight. Their house was at risk of foreclosure. My parents called me, voices trembling, "Diana, we need help. Can you lend us some money?" By then, I'd started my own small company. It wasn't huge, but I could have easily helped. Instead, I asked, "How much do you need?" They said, "Around $80,000. I smiled through the phone, tears in my eyes, and whispered, "I'm sorry. I can't throw money at every problem." The silence that followed felt like justice. Not revenge, not hate, just balance. That night, I lit a candle beside Noah's photo and whispered, "You didn't die in vain." For the first time, I felt peace. Emily came to me, eyes red, holding a crumpled envelope. She said, "I know what they did. I know what they refused. I can't live with it anymore." She told me that after Noah's death, she had nightmares every night, hearing his laugh, seeing his smile. Inside the envelope was a note from my parents. "We were wrong. We hope one day you can forgive us." They'd sold their home and moved into a small apartment. I didn't feel joy. I didn't feel anger. Just emptiness. I told Emily, forgiveness doesn't erase consequences. It just releases pain. She nodded and said, "You're stronger than all of us." As she left, I looked at Noah's picture again and whispered, "You changed me, my love. You made me fearless." I don't tell this story for pity, I tell it as a reminder. Family isn't defined by blood, but by loyalty, compassion, and the courage to do what's right. If you ever feel unseen or unloved, remember, your worth doesn't depend on who failed to recognize it. Sometimes the best revenge is rebuilding your peace and letting karma speak in your silence. Because one day, those who turned away when you needed them most will face what they taught you. Indifference always costs more than love.